Grey skies overhead here in Monaco and a grey start to the race weekend. Hello folks, welcome to Paddock Pass, your pre-race edition for the 2019 Monaco Grand Prix. And I say a grey start to the weekend because we lost one of the greats. Andreas Nicolas Lauda, better known to all of us as Niki, passed away on Monday at the age of 70. An icon of this sport and a man whose story transcends this sport. Even if you don't like Formula One, you've heard of Niki Lauda, you've heard of his amazing comeback from the crash that almost killed him, the story of where he was administered the last rites but looked death in the face and said, not today. That was Niki. Courageous and brave and stubborn as an ox, a man you wouldn't cross. You wouldn't cross him, but imbued with such humour and grace and naughtiness. There are so many great stories that we are hearing the length and breadth of this paddock. What's been lovely actually today walking around the paddock is just people talking about their memories of him, and they're all happy, they're all really good memories. He didn't have an enemy in this place. He was so influential, so important to this sport, not just as a three-time champion, but 25 years ago here in Monaco, he restarted the Grand Prix Drivers Association after the death of Ayrton Senna and Roland Ratzenberger. He joined Mercedes as non-executive chairman and was instrumental in taking them to the success that they have reached. He was instrumental in getting Lewis Hamilton to leave McLaren and go to this team that wasn't really doing much at the time. When Niki talked, you listened. Niki was truthful, blisteringly truthful. No BS. I can't say the rude word even though we're on the internet. But that was his mantra. Tell it as it is. And you knew with Niki that what you saw was what you got. Great man, lovely man, who will be very sadly missed. Lewis Hamilton, so close to Niki, so cut up, he didn't do any media time today, was excused that. But a lot of the drivers did talk today, wanted to talk about Niki, what he meant to them, what he meant to this sport, how much he will be missed in this place that loved him.
I mean, for me personally, it was more what I shared with him. You know, the few moments I did have a conversation with him and cross paths. You know, he spent a bit of time in Red Bull. I think he liked our breakfast more than Mercedes. So he was in there quite a bit, and yeah, naturally we would, you know, talk. And well, I just honestly, it was kind. You know, the words he had for me, whether it was advice or a bit of a witty comment or something. I don't know. It was always ended with a smile or a pat on the back.
I remember a race I did in Monza. I was starting in Formula One. I started 14 and I finished second. I nearly won the race. And I remember he came to the podium to give me the trophy and took his hat off, you know, and he didn't do that many occasions. So that was a very special moment for me. A legend, fantastic guy out of the paddock. I think very lovely guy. He will really be missed, and yeah. I think now we have to support his family, leave them alone for a bit, but always remind them how important Niki is for the Formula One family.
My first memories are of course of him being a two-time world champion and being a legend in the sport. And outside of that, he was always a great person. He had a lot of humor as well, and just a great guy. And I'm very passionate about the sport still, even after his career. So. Yeah, it's a big loss to F1, but of course the biggest loss is, of course, going out to his family and, of course, the thoughts are with him.
I think in terms of determination and just an inspiration for all drivers, really, but his story, I think it resonates with all of us. He's clearly got this hunger and the way he came back. Yeah, it's inspirational.
For sure, he was always there to support after a good result of the race, but the main thing was if there was difficult times or difficult race or disappointments, he was there to speak and to support, to motivate. Because, you know, as a racer, he's been in one of the worst situations in racing history that's affected his career and his life, and he managed to bounce back from those difficult moments, so he knows exactly how a driver's mind works, and he's been a massive motivation for the whole team, which has definitely helped us for better results, and that will continue even though he's not here. He's going to still motivate us to do well.
Having had the opportunity to know him, to talk to him, to ask him all sorts of things, how the cars were, how the time was with Ferrari, how was Enzo Ferrari, all these things obviously he knows extremely well, and was shocked, I think, as everybody, to hear at the beginning of the week the sad news. So I think it's a big loss for Formula One, for Formula One community, for the sport. It's an icon that we lost and will be impossible to replace.
There we go then, some lovely words from the drivers about Niki Lauda. We will miss him. And it's funny, actually, I've seen someone wearing a red cap a couple of times during the day, and you sort of think, it's Niki, and it's not. He will be so missed. Great man. Right, onto the team then that he helped towards this incredible run of success and 5 1-2 finishes at the start of this season. Mercedes doing incredible things in 2019. Let's talk to Valtteri Bottas as we arrive here in Monaco. They were blistering in Sector 3 at Spain. That should have everybody worried about how potentially fast they could be here in Monaco.
Well, it's a unique circuit. It's always difficult to say, because even last year we were strong in Barcelona. We were 1-2. But we didn't have the quickest car here, so it's a tough one. But we've made good progress since last year. Also mechanically with the car, which is important here. We seem to have the downforce what you need, so everything seems okay. But we're still cautious because it is Monaco and it is unique. But obviously, would really like to do well here.
How much do you enjoy driving around this track? One thing you notice over the years, the track doesn't change. But from the photographs, you can see how much larger the cars are now than they used to be. Can you still have fun, throw the car around here?
Yeah, you can have fun. It's for sure, it takes a bit of time to get fully into the rhythm here and really find the limits. And by the time of qualifying, it is definitely fun. And it's for me, the qualifying is the most fun here. It's driving on the limit here and pushing the limits and kissing the walls. It's good fun, and it is enjoyable. It might look different and might look even clumsy at places with these cars, but it's still good fun.
So if it's been a great start to the season for Mercedes, it has been a disappointment for Ferrari. It's a home race this weekend for Charles Leclerc. What can he do on home soil, home tarmac, asphalt, whatever you want to call it? Expectation really is high on this guy returning here, but can he? Does he have the car underneath him? Can he do something? Can he get on the podium at home? It would be an amazing result, but it is by no means a guarantee.
I can concentrate on this race as the others, but apart from that, I can definitely feel also the huge support there is all around the city, and this is very nice to see. It feels good to be at home the night too. It's pretty different to all around the year, and hopefully we'll be able to score a good result.
A lot of talk in the press over the last few weeks about Ferrari possibly needing to change the very foundations, the basis of the car. Is it that bad?
To be completely honest, I don't know. There are a lot of analysis done in Maranello at the moment, but maybe speak to Mattia about it. He will go more into details. I'm not so sure we understood completely the full problem now, but there are still a lot of investigations.
Can you win?
I will push for that. Then realistically, it's going to be difficult. Obviously, Sector 3 in Barcelona was pretty difficult, and here it's mostly slow corners. So it's a different track. The car is set up completely differently. So try to put everything right and do the best job possible.
Charles Leclerc then only too aware of the task that lies in front of him at his home Grand Prix, and it is a big task because Red Bull Racing feel that they've got a chance this weekend. It's a track on which we know traditionally they go well, and the Honda power unit in the back of the car has been performing strongly too. This was the scene last year of, I think, Max Verstappen's lowest ebb in Formula One. It had a nightmare start to the season, He dinked it in FP3 when he was just trying to go for the top time to prove he was quicker than Daniel Ricciardo, and what should have been an easy 1-2 for Red Bull around these streets, certainly maybe a front row start for Max Verstappen, turned into a hell of a fight back from him during the race. But a point at which I think his headspace changed. He admitted to us afterwards that something clicked in him that weekend, and he had to change the way he went racing. And since that point, he's been phenomenal. I keep saying it, this year, easily the best driver of the season so far. Can he do it though? Can he turn it around? Can he beat the might of Mercedes here in Monaco? I think if anybody can, it's going to be Max Verstappen.
I think it will be difficult to fight for a win, but let's first get out there and see how the car is performing. But we are definitely not the favorites. I think Mercedes, they have definitely shown that they're very competitive this year, both with the engine and the car, and we'll have to work hard to try and beat them.
It seems that since this race last year, you've been pound for pound one of, if not the best drivers in this sport, constantly getting the most out of your equipment. Do you feel that you're in the form of your life at the moment?
I don't know. I think it just should be like this. Always trying to get the maximum out of your car. I think that is a normal standard. That's what I've always tried to be doing from when I started go-karting, or at least that's what my dad always tried to tell me how to do it on track.
Up and down weekend for Haas in Barcelona was looking good for them, certainly better in race trim than it had been all season long. However, contretemps between Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen, drivers not happy with each other after the race. We'll talk to Romain Grosjean about his hopes for this weekend and the fallout from Barcelona. Important to know this weekend, though, that upturn in performance in Barcelona was achieved without the upgraded Spec 2 Ferrari power unit in the back of their car, but both Haas and Alfa Romeo will have that at their disposal this weekend.
We've been a bit of on a roller coaster this year. Some races been performing very, very well. Some even qualifying was good, but race was more complicated. And here we'll see. I think clearly in Barcelona we've shown that the car is very strong and the pace is very good. And if we get everything to work, to package the tires all together, we're there. Question is, Monaco is not Barcelona. Temperature is not the same. Energy going into the tires is not the same. So I will find the key yet to get those tires to work on those more tricky circuits. That we will find out after Friday or Thursday, I guess.
The result in Spain wasn't as good as it could have been. I know there was a little bit of discontent after the race. Has that all been resolved, talked through within the team?
Yeah, I think so. I think I keep the positive from Barcelona, which was the pace we're showing. On the second stint, we were faster than the Red Bull in front of us and catching them up. So there was a lot of potential and a really good pace. The safety car obviously ruined a little bit at the end of the race. Things could have been done differently, but I think it's all good.
12 months ago, Daniel Ricciardo belly flopped his way into history over there on the Red Bull floater home. The victory that he felt was his by right, that had been denied previously here by pit stop blunders. It all came good for him, and the man of the moment, that absolutely wonderful achievement, and I think one that was really richly appreciated throughout the Formula One paddock. What can he expect? What can he hope for this year? Obviously, expectations far lower at Renault than they were at Red Bull, but if anybody can get the most out of a car around this Grand Prix circuit, then in terms of recent history at least, we know Daniel Ricciardo's pretty nifty here.
My goal is to crash the Red Bull pool again. So you thought I was going to say something else when I said crash. So.
Yeah.
But I mean to jump back in that pool would be nice. That would be the ultimate goal. And to be honest, I'll do it even with a podium. We could strive on a personal best result of the year for sure. I think that's something we can aim for. But I think to get that, we've just got to aim for tomorrow practice. A car that I am myself and Nico feel confident with and comfortable with. I don't think you necessarily need the fastest car here to have a good result, but you need a car you're comfortable with. And when I say that, it's obviously we're brushing walls, we're jumping curbs, the track as well is bumpy, so you need to be comfortable getting close and throwing it around and attacking that curb and just putting the car where you think it should be, and that's just going to come from a bit of setup and having something underneath us which we feel is responding with us and not against us.
Getting it on its nose as well, I guess, particularly for you. Is that something that you're starting to gel with the car, that you know where you're at and that it is going to respond to you when you put it under that kind of sort of duress?
Yeah, I'm certainly feel like, and even though the results haven't, we haven't had any necessarily outstanding results yet, I certainly feel since China, personally I've made a step, with the car and just had more awareness of it and more feeling. So that's been a good development for me within the team. It hasn't at the moment necessarily got us better results, but we got to put a few more pieces together. But yeah, I mean, if I look at Melbourne and Bahrain and then from China onwards, I certainly feel like I'm starting to get on top of it. So just try and squeeze more out and here more than any place, you can certainly do that.
Now, as we said, Alfa Romeo have got the new Ferrari power unit in the back of their car this weekend. They also have a driver in Kimi Räikkönen who is celebrating his 300th Formula One Grand Prix. I say he's celebrating it. He's not. He doesn't really want to talk about it. Told the team he wants them to forget about it. They're not. They're doing all kinds of things that he's really unhappy about. Kimi being Kimi. Let's talk then to his teammate Antonio Giovinazzi, arriving here for the first time as a Formula One driver. He's raced here in junior formulas, of course, but massively looking forward to getting out on track in a Formula One car for the first time.
A difficult track, I would say, especially a really important qualifying here on Saturday, and also will be rain on Saturday, so it will be more difficult than what it is already, but yeah, will be similar for everyone. Like I say, important will be qualifying, so we need to put all together there. Then in the race, honestly, it's a difficult race and difficult track to overtake, but important, I think we take back the good cars than we had in Baku, and then if we are in Q3, everything will be more easy for Sunday.
5 races in Formula One under your belt this year. Do you have the confidence in the car yet that you'll need to get everything out of this track?
It's going, to be honest, in this 5 races up and down, honestly, a little bit. Baku was good, and then Barcelona again not really good. But, it's a different track. I think it's a track where also the driver can make a little bit of difference, and this is what I need to try this weekend.
Now, I'll tell you what, it's got fairly bright. I know we started off with the grey clouds, but they're starting to burn off with the sun. Having said that, it's also starting to rain, and it seems we've got a high chance of rain Saturday afternoon to play its part during qualifying, believe it or not. Could that throw roll the dice, I should say, the gamble that there always is here in Monaco, an extra little element to roll into the mix, potentially on Saturday afternoon. But the weather forecast is changing all the time. When we arrived here, it's 50% chance. Then yesterday they said no chance of rain on Saturday. Now it's up to as high as 75-80% chance of rain on Saturday, meaning it'll probably be down to 0 again by tomorrow. Anyway, you see that? It is spitting with the sunshine. Can't make up its mind. Let's go down to McLaren. Let's talk to Carlos Sainz. His rookie teammate Lando Norris really excited about racing on the streets of Monaco. But Carlos too, looking forward to this one. It's not been an easy week for McLaren. Embarrassed at Indianapolis. Can they salvage something here on the streets of Monte Carlo?
Yeah, basically let's not think about the last 5 races, because Monaco is a bit of a different case to all of that. I think Monaco is a standout where you just need to find the confidence, the balance with the car, and suddenly the weekend can turn out to be extremely good or particularly bad. In the past, it's been a good one for me, so I'm going to build up on that confidence and try to set up the car to my liking, and then get that confidence that allows you to go a bit quicker around here.
It's all about confidence, isn't it?
It is, yeah. The performance of the car is important in Monaco, but if you have a decent car, but you get a lot of confidence with the rear end, with the front end, and you get the balance right, then suddenly a decent car can turn out to be a very good car, and a good car turn out to be a not so good one. So we'll see what we can do.
Toro Rosso have always, I say always, usually go well here in Monaco, and the guys are expecting no less this weekend. Danik Fiat really on a high, I think, driving as well, if not better than ever, in Formula One. His teammate Alex Albon, another rookie like Giovinazzi, who's just really looking forward to this weekend and getting out on track. Let's talk to him about the expectations of finally getting a Formula One car out on this glorious street circuit where there is so much history and so much expectation, especially if you are, I think, a youngster getting to go out and experience it, said, for the first time.
I know this track from Formula 2, so it's not a new circuit, but these F1 cars are a bit of a different kettle of fish, so we'll see. I think the rain was worrying me a little bit if it is going to rain this weekend. It looks like it's staying off for the moment, which is a good thing. But no, really cool. I think it's the one track where in qualifying I feel like you get that extra confidence for them extra couple of laps where you really put it on the line. That feeling of adrenaline you don't really get anywhere else. So yeah, I really like the track.
What's that like? Do you have to hold your breath? How hard is it not to completely tense up if you've got that adrenaline sort of coursing through you?
I think you're so focused at that point that you're not tense. It's almost like you have this kind of this drive where it's almost like a checklist where you're going through each corner knowing, where the bumps are, where the sweet spots are on the track, and you're just going through it. And then obviously you arrive to, let's say, swimming pool, and then it's a bit like, okay, this is the moment, here we go. I'm not sure now if it would be easy flat, but I know F2 it was flat, but you're sideways the whole way through it, so we'll see.
That's one way to get through the Monaco paddock. I think he can probably cycle home from here, to be fair with you. I think his house is up there somewhere. That's basically Monaco. It's in there somewhere, isn't it? We're staying on Rue Leclerc, which I don't think has got anything to do with Charles. There you go. There's some useless information. Let's talk about Racing Point. Had an interesting chat with Lance Stroll earlier today, and he couldn't really tell me much about the car after Barcelona, the upgrade package. It didn't really work as well as they were hoping. But he did say something interesting about this track, about the history of the track. And he said when you come here and you drive it, you do feel the history, you sense the history, and all the greats that have raced here. The track's celebrating its 90th birthday this year. Astonishing when you think about it. It's older, it predates Formula 1, all the way back to the earliest years of Grand Prix racing. So that was nice. Anyway, we're going to talk to Sergio Perez about this one, about the team's expectations and hopes, because they are hoping for better than they had in Barcelona. They've still been able to sort of, maintain, I think, a really good position and good pace compared to what they were expecting from the start of the year, but certainly Barcelona did not come up to expectations.
I think if you're perfect on a Saturday, you can get a couple of positions, 1, 2 or 3 positions if you're perfect, and in other places if you are perfect you probably get a single position, So I think here on Saturday it's very important to build that confidence throughout the weekend and coming qualifying, be on it and just give everything you possibly can.
Can the driver make a difference here? In terms of sort of overcoming the deficiencies in a car?
They can, to a certain extent, Obviously, sadly in Formula 1, 98% of the result is your car, but I think here is a place where I've been on the podium before with difficult conditions. We are expecting a bit of rain on Saturday, so anything can happen here, but I look forward to be perfect on the weekend and maximize the team result.
And so to Williams, and a driver who had one of his most memorable and really sort of epic Formula 1 races here, Robert Kubica. It's not been an easy start to the season for him. Got the chassis that he wanted to have at the last race weekend, but having had a good FP1, the pace tailed off and his confidence in the car tailed off throughout the remainder of the weekend, as we've been hearing all the way through this show. Monaco is a unique circuit. It is a unique track. The driver can make the difference, but he has to have confidence in that car to be able to get to the limit and extract the maximum. Does Robert have that confidence? Will he be able to extract the difference? Will he be able to make the difference?
Normally Monaco is a place where it can write different stories, it can shuffle up cards a bit, and so it's always exciting to come here, not only because of the unique track layout and a special feeling you get in the car driving around those streets, but it's kind of performance mixing up place. But I hope I'm wrong, but I think we are too far off from the others to to gain anything, but definitely looking forward, and hopefully we'll get our car working on this street, and confidence has to be there. So let's cross the fingers that it will be there.
You touch on that point, and it's key here. Confidence is everything. Spain, the confidence seemed to drop throughout the weekend with the car. How worried are you?
Yeah, one of the, let's say, factors we have to get under control is to have more consistency in the car. Sometimes the car change behavior from one run to the other, and this is something which we have to understand, and definitely in place like Monaco, it's not helping when things are changing. A part of, as I said, performance, this is something which we have to work on, and hopefully the consistency will be there, because on consistency you can start building up your confidence, but also build up your knowledge about the car and trying to improve it. But I think those two tracks next to Grand Prix, Monaco and Canada, are not the perfect place to discover those things, but definitely consistency and drivability is important here.
And that is your lot from Paddock Pass. Remember a few minutes ago I said it got all sunny and it was raining? Well, now the clouds are back. That is Monaco and the microclimate that exists in this very swanky fishing village. It's going to be a really interesting weekend. Mercedes look, as we said, from the basis of their Sector 3 times in Barcelona, to be scary, scary quick. But as we know with this place, one small mistake is the difference between pole position and putting it in the wall. They're going to have to be perfect. They have been perfect all year. Is this the weekend where they get toppled? Is this the weekend where a Red Bull, maybe a Max Verstappen, 1 year on from that horrible weekend here, can he make amends? Something tells me there's something, a story that will unfold this weekend. Can't put my finger on why. Anyway, we are, of course, mourning the loss of our dear friend Niki Lauda. He would, I'm sure, have loved all of the memories and happy stories that are being told of him and how widely appreciated and loved he was. But I'm sure at the same time he would have been a little embarrassed and sort of battered all away and tell us just to get on with our jobs and go racing. So that is what we shall do. Racing with Niki in our hearts and in our memories. They broke the mould with Niki. We'll never see his like again.